watching, Santa's waiting, Christmas Eve is slowly fading. Can you hear him in the night? Close the door, turn out the light.
Yeah, gore. Love the gore. Gory good stuff. Alright, yeah. Oh. Ho. Ho 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 ho. Ho 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 ho. What up, peeps? Mr.Bones back at you. And it's that time of year again. It's Merry aXe'Mas season. And I'm here with a newly released batch of aXe'Mas themed horror reviews for you. Stick around and find out, ho. 2025's The Creeps, directed and written by Marco Macchialazzo, starring Chris Cavalier, Veronica Jarvis, Joe Dante, and Christopher Lambert. Two American youngsters who prepare to celebrate Monster Fest in a Finnish ski resort that gets overrun by small creatures. When this movie comes on, it kind of starts off like a raunch comedy from the 80s or American Pie. You got a kid sitting here talking to his parents on the phone, talking about their yearly ritual of how they both love to watch Highlander on Christmas. They both love Highlander. This kid's name is Zach, who is allergic to gluten, but still ends up eating it all the damn time in the movie and facing the repercussions regardless. While he's talking to them, they're talking about Highlander, and he's eating a sandwich, and the dad's like, "That's not got gluten in it, does it? But you know what happens." He's like, "Oh, yeah, it's gluten-free," but it's not. And then a porn clip pops up while he's talking to his parents. As he freaks out and struggles to close it, he ends up accidentally wiping his mouth with a jerk tissue, which apparently, just before his parents called, he was adding to his spank bank, which was kind of gross and not funny. And once he gets off the phone with them, he proceeds to walk toward the camera and talk to us like it's the Ferris Bueller movie or something, and give us a speech of being young and trying to live life, and kind of, reminiscent of the American Pie, "we all get laid" speech. I'm like, okay, what are we watching here? Then there's a knock at the door, and it's his friend Joe with this random kid named Yako that he found lost in the woods, supposedly. So they all three hang out, quote 80s movies all through this movie, doing the motion and the sounds from Bill and Ted, saying, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and "there can be only one," and all this shit. And they're there to see this Monster Fest, like HorrorCon thing, up in the snowy hills. And they're like, huh. They get to the top of this hill where the Monster Fest is, that appears to be broken into three sections, where they have the option of a COVID-19 party, whatever that is, a sexy nun party, or an 80s party, which he says looks like lots of fun. But his friends choose the sexy nun party. While they're there, these killer snowmen show up. I forgot to mention, at the opening of the movie, it shows this like crazy Nazi guy with some kind of machine and making evil little snowmen, which are pretty cool, which is what the movie is based around. They look and sound just like the Gremlins, not Mogwais, not the cute little Mogwais, but the Gremlins. But they show up and they're wreaking hell. Along the way, while Zach and his friends are fighting these evil snowmen, he meets the love of his life, who is the lead singer of some band at this Monster Fest. And he meets Christopher Lambert, who randomly stops by and introduces himself and says there can be only one. Yako stays behind while the other two fight the snowmen and gets hit all through the movie behind the bar by the two sexy nuns. They take a ride in Kit from Knight Rider, which is voiced by the original voice actor William Daniels, who plays Mr. Feeney in Boy Meets World. So that was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in this, like the original voice actor of Knight Rider coming back for this movie, and Christopher Lambert and him saying there can be only one, and the quoting of the 80s movies, but there's also lots of cheesy acting and cheesy stuff like him being allergic to gluten and having to drop a deuce all the time and the jerk off shit at the beginning. So I give this movie about a 50-50. Partially cool, partially a cheese fest. So I say if it sounds interesting to you, give it a watch. Check it out. I always say everything is worth one watch. So you could say you've seen it, maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. 2025's I Know What You Did Last Christmas, directed by Gregory William Randolph Jr., written by C.M. Wright, starring Lauren Starrett, Shaylee Reagan, and Connor Horrigan, just to name a few. Former friends at a remote Christmas reunion face deadly consequences when a hunter targets them over their shared secret, a holiday prank that killed a woman last year. And that's all you get, is what happened in the description. It doesn't really show you or go into full details in the movie. But this movie opens up with a cool dream sequence that you didn't know was one until you find out it is one. With a cool scene with a girl walking down the street being stalked by a creepy looking Santa in a black plastic mask and a Santa suit. He snatches her up, puts her in a Santa bag, and starts dragging her down the road. And it pans down and shows her ripping it open and crawling out. And he turns around and she stabs him in the gut, and then she wakes up. Then it goes to these cut scenes of showing each of these people getting these invitations to this place to all meet up for a Christmas reunion, which the guest list is only these like 7 people that was involved in a holiday prank gone wrong the year before, which they apparently killed someone, but they don't go into full-on details. This movie is made by ITN, so it's low budget with low budget acting. ITN is the people who released the Pooniverse movies, aka the Twisted Childhood Universe movies. So you must know what you're getting into if you decide to watch this. If you like those movies, which I know a lot of people don't, but me and my boy Echo Zero, link will be below, do like the Pooniverse movies, and we're used to these low budget movies. So if you do like low budget movies and you're used to them, you may like this, because it's of that kind of fare. The regular accents, the regular actors, the same level of acting talent. They meet up at this little house and start getting picked off slowly one by this killer Santa in a black mask and a Santa outfit. It has cool kills. Well, my 2 favorite kills. The first kill is where he trips this guy over and shoves a candy cane through the back of his head out the front of his neck. I'm not sure if it's like a walking cane or a crowbar. It looks like it could be either one, with a candy cane wrap around it. The second coolest kill I liked was where this girl's in the exercise room exercising, and he chokes her with some Christmas lights and then attaches them to the sprocket of an exercise bike, gets on it, and wraps her up in there and chokes her to death. There are a few other decent kills. There is just to be funny here, there is a cameo by a hot tub, because it seems that somebody involved with ITN owns a hot tub, and there seems to be one in every ITN movie, at least usually every Pooniverse movie. I've seen it in, I don't know if it's the same one, but I see one in the Pooh movies, the Piglet movie, a Popeye movie, and now this movie. But like I said, low budget movie, cheesy acting. The girls are always screaming and crying, saying, "We didn't do anything." But apparently you did, according to the description of the movie and while you're there. And there's one scene where a girl is blatantly using a wooden knife. Couldn't they have found anything any better? But hey, if any of this sounds interesting to you, if you like low-budget movies or ITM movies, check it out. It's worth the one watch. It's worth it to see the cool kills. Moving on. 2025's Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot, remake, reimagining, whatever you call this. Directed by Mike P. Nelson, written by Mike P. Nelson, Michael Hickey, and Paul Caney. Starring Rohan Campbell, Ruby Modine, and Mark Akeson. After seeing his parents killed by someone dressed as Santa, a grown man later wears a Santa suit himself and seeks violent revenge. This stars Ruby Modine as the main female cast in this, and Rohan, or Billy's love interest, who was in Happy Death Day to You as Laurie Spengler, and Satanic Panic as Judy Ross, and stars Rohan Campbell as Billy, who also starred in The Monkey, as Ricky, and Halloween Ends as Corey Cunningham, who not many people are a big fan of. They blame him for ruining Halloween and doing this type of supernatural stuff with Michael Myers in Halloween Ends, and then he comes over to this one and is doing similar stuff. This movie comes on and a young Billy visits his grandpa in the nursing home. While he's having a conversation with him, enjoying his time with him, his grandpa randomly starts coughing and choking and saying he needs water, and just starts spitting up blood and then drops dead. You don't see him drop dead at first, and Billy and his parents are heading home in the car, and he asks his parents, is Grandpa going to be alright? And they're like, oh no honey, Grandpa's dead. And then at a stoplight, a car shows up behind them, bumping them on the bumper. The dad gets out to exchange car insurance over a bumped bumper, and Santa blows his head off, and then gets out of the car to kill the mother. Upon approaching the mother, she sneaks him and stabs him in the neck, and as he's falling, he gets his shot off and kills her as well. So both parents are dead, and Billy decides to get out of the car and touch the killer Santa's hand, and something comes from his body into Billy's body. Something supernatural. So now Billy's an evil Santa, killing people throughout the movie, saying punish and calling them naughty. And throughout the movie, he has a voice in his head, a deep voice. People have been comparing to Venom. We are Venom. Telling him who's naughty and who's nice. You must kill them, they're naughty. A lot of people hate that. I didn't mind it. For some reason, it kind of reminded me of Gene Shepard movies where he narrates through the movies. Throughout the movie, he kills this guy that touched Pamela's arm, and Billy didn't like that, so he follows him home, causing naughty, and puts an axe in his head, who then turns out to be the guy who usually dresses up as Santa Claus for the kids at the little antique shop that Pamela works at. So then she ends up asking Billy to do it and dress as Santa, which the voice inside his head says, you better not do that. You won't be able to control yourself. And it flips a switch in him, which makes him a little more crazier. And he meets this lady named Delphine at a hockey game that he goes to with Pamela. And she's yelling and screaming and cursing at kids, and he didn't like that, so he followed her into this building, which turned out to be a Christmas Nazi party with like 40-some Nazis, and he proceeds to murder the shit out of them, which would be a favorite scene of people's. And through flashback scenes, you find out that the original Santa was possessed by some other evil Santa, and when he touched this guy's hand, as he was dying, Charlie went inside of him and became his inner voice and tells him who's naughty or nice. It was an interesting idea. I liked it. I didn't mind it. Some people were like 50-50 on this movie. Some people didn't like it. Some people do like it. I thought it was an interesting idea. I thought it was pretty cool. I'd have to say I highly recommend you check this one out and see if you like it. Thank you for watching. Merry fucking aXe'Mas. Peace.
Yeah. Now we're slashing through the snow on a bloodstained broken sleigh. We're killing all the way.
Silent night, that's when I creep like Santa Claus, sneaking down the chimney. Get your cookies and your money, pack it up and I'm gone. Jingle bells, no bitch, that's my cell phone.
I'm getting the good stuff. The east side does the Yuletide right. Never